Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is to you all. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in today. So, I just wanted to talk about a topic, a pretty interesting topic, and that is the topic of whether cheating is a mistake or whether cheating is a choice. So often I hear people that I personally know who are relationships, the guy will cheat or do something out of line, right? And it's like, oh, well, it was just a mistake. Like, and you guys know what I'm talking about. The friend that always, guys doing the same thing over and over. And it's always, oh, no, it's just a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes and people make mistakes and everybody deserves a second chance, right? We've all heard that before. Well, I was thinking about it and I thought to myself one day and I said, but wait a minute, because I've made mistakes, right? Like we've all made mistakes. And so we know what a mistake looks like and kind of how it all comes about, I guess, if you want to put it that way, right? So I'm like, I've made mistakes but I've also made choices. And I feel like, oh, excuse me. I feel like and I'm talking about this in terms of cheating, right? I'm really trying to focus on that aspect of it. Um, Cheating relationships, right? In the case of cheating, I feel like cheating is a choice. This is just my personal opinion. I feel like it's a choice, right? And the reason I say that is because just me personally, I will use myself as an example. The things that I value most in life have kind of determined the decision and choices that I've made. Like a lot of it. So, in general, I feel like the things you value the most will determine the decision and choices you make. So, for example, people who value money and finance and wealth, what do you see them doing? They invest, they save, they work hard, they protect their money, they're always finding ways to make that money grow and multiply and to secure it, and to make smart financial decisions, right? They're very frugal. They're very careful about the kind of decisions that they make financially. And that ultimately, leads to their success. Relationships, okay. People who value relationships, whether it's relationships with their parents, their siblings, their loved one, they do what it takes to really secure and protect that relationship so that it grows and it flourishes into a healthy, situation, right? And they protect it with all their might, their power, their strength. I mean, they guard it with all their heart. And so I feel like anyone who is willing to make a commitment to you or be in a relationship with you and then steps out and cheats, to me, I feel like that's a person that doesn't really either value you or value the relationship. That's how I see it. Because again, what I know just from my personal experience of taking care of myself, like the things that I really value, like, my education, my health, my finance, my family, like I guard those things with all my being. Like, I mean, I'm on it. Like, I do whatever it takes to become, whether it's a better educator, educate myself more, a better daughter, a better family person. I mean, I'm constantly trying to seek ways to grow in those areas and be better in those areas. So, because those are things that matter to me a lot. Those are things that I care about. So I invest the time and the effort and the energy in making sure that I really kind of safeguard those and protect them and really, do my best not to do anything that would, kind of create a problem or make me to have the strained relationships in those areas, um, whether it's relationship with family, your financing, your education, all that stuff. So I do my best to really stay on top of things. And so I just feel like, yeah, if, and yes, there is forgiveness. I mean, if somebody cheats, there is forgiveness. But I think you also obviously has to look at the pattern of a person, right? It's all based on each individual. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Each individual is different. So, in addition to the cheating itself, I just to be honest with you guys, like cheating is one of those things, like it's really hard, right? And I've never been cheated on or anything like that, but I just know myself really well. And I know myself well enough to know what I will tolerate and what I won't. And I just know off the bat that cheating is not one of those things I will tolerate, right? Because commitment is something that I value a lot. Respect is something that I value a lot, right? So again, what you value will determine the kind of choices you make and the kind of, decisions you make about relationships and who you want to be with and what you want to tolerate and what you won't tolerate, right? Y'all see what I'm going with this? So that's how I know for me the cheating thing is just one of those deal breakers for me, because it's like, if you can't, and then it also goes back to discipline. This is the thing, because people always make the excuse of, oh, well, a man will be a man, and it's really hard for a man to listen. It's hard for everybody to do a lot of things. Do you know that there are some females that, I mean, talk about poor hygiene. They don't shower, they don't brush their teeth, they don't comb their hair. They literally walk out the door in the same clothes they were in the day. I've seen that. Like, and I'm using female as an example because, I'm a female and it's easier for me to use that as an example, right? But, and not to, be negative about anybody, but I'm just trying to give you guys picture of what it looks like when you don't discipline yourself. Like everything in life takes discipline, is what people have to understand. Even waking up in the morning takes discipline, okay? Brushing your teeth takes discipline. Combing your hair, like the simplest things in life takes discipline. And when you master those little habits, then you're able to go on and master even bigger habits, right? And take on more challenges, right? And so everything starts with discipline. Like there's a lot of things in life that's really hard that if we were all to just sit back and be like, yeah, it is so hard, like we wouldn't be anywhere. Like life takes discipline. Like you have to discipline, and even the smallest things I've just talked about, like waking up in the morning, those are all things that our parents teach us when we're young, and we do them enough and we become disciplined that as we get older, they just become second nature. And that's what happens when you discipline yourself with something. Yes, starting out it's hard, but eventually it becomes part of you and you get used to it. Like, I mean, for me right now, waking up, and it's just natural for me to wake up, first thing I do, go in the shower, take my shower, brush my teeth. I mean, it's just all natural. I don't even have to think twice about it. And so it's just, and nobody has to remind me, like it's just automatic. And so that's what happens when you discipline yourself. So when I hear people talk about, oh, men talk about, it was a mistake, like, it's so hard, I couldn't control it, like, it was just a weak moment. I'm like, but was it really? Like, there's always a better alternative. Like whenever you're thinking about doing something that isn't right and isn't right, like I feel like you have to discipline yourself enough to really sit back and say, okay, is there a better alternative here than what I'm about to do? Like there's always a time to sit back and think before you react. Like you always have time. And so I feel like you always have time to sit back and think twice before you do something, because there's always a better alternative than what you're planning on doing, right? Like there's always options. There are always options. And so I don't buy into that when men or women say that, because to me, it all just feels like a choice. Like you made a choice to go out and sleep with this person, you made a choice to cheat. Like that was a choice. That is not a mistake. People, it's funny because, people are like, a mistake is when you forget your car keys in the car and you lock the car. That's a mistake, right? A mistake is when you leave the food on the fire burning. Like those are mistakes, and that's true. Like those are mistakes because those are things that kind of, they happen and you're like you don't realize it until it's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I left the food, like I totally forgot. Oh, and you forget to pick the kids up from school because you're so busy. Those are like little mistakes. Those are, to me, that's like, okay, yes, that's a mistake. Like it happens, it's life, whatever. But cheating, I'm like, cheating is a different type of situation. Like, because first of all, you made the choice to get into the relationship, so you have to know that with that comes responsibility, accountability, and respect, right? So if you don't value those things and understand them, then you shouldn't be getting into a relationship with anyone, because those are the basic things you have to understand. Like, what I'm about to get into is going to require commitment, dedication, accountability, and respect, patience, love. I mean, those are the things you have to understand. So, you know, there are a lot of people running around here in relationships that are not ready for it and don't need to be in one, because you really have to prepare mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. I mean, you have to prepare for a relationship, right? It can't just be, oh, I'm just trying to have someone by my side, I'm lonely. Like, there's a lot that comes with relationships. So you really have to be prepared for it. Otherwise, you end up in these compromising situations. Like, I can sit here with confidence and tell y'all that I would never cheat. Like, I can say that with confidence and actually mean it, because, again, I know myself, and I've also kind of made commitments to myself, set boundaries for myself, of certain things that I just won't do, like certain compromises I won't, like there's just certain things that I won't do. And I literally had to sit down one day and write a letter to myself and like write down all the things that, no matter how hard, how desperate, how whatever, these are the things that I will not do. Period. For the rest of my life, as long as I live, there are certain things I just won't do. I don't care where I am, what the circumstances is, those are just non-negotiables. Like, that is how I've chosen to live my life, and I will live by those standards, and that's just it. Like, I'm not going to do, I won't compromise on certain things. So I feel like you have to, you have to have that. You have to create something like that for yourself. And then you have to live by it and you have to stick by it. And, like it's a marathon. Each day you just got to keep pushing through. And yeah, sometimes there's temptation. Like there's a lot of temptation. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of temptation surrounding us. But, with God, you can do all things. That's what I believe. I'm a believer. And so, you've got that, and then you've also got to put in work into disciplining yourself as well. So nothing in life comes easy. But like I said, with discipline, it starts out hard, but it gets easy. So for the people who are out there talking about, oh, cheating is so hard and I'm a man, like, it's hard for men to refrain from this and that. It's hard for women too. I mean, and like I said, I don't want to make this about men and women. It's hard for everybody. Like we all have temptation, we all have urges. Like it's hard for everybody, but you've just got to be determined, make a plan, write a little commitment, no, whatever you want to call it, something to yourself, that a guideline that you can live by and you can follow, so that when time gets hard, you can go back and refer to that and be like, okay, this is what I said I was not going to do. I'm going to stick by it. And, just remain prayerful, because that's also going to help you in this life through this journey, is that you got to be prayerful, because you need the power of God on your side. Like you need God on your side as well. And being a believer, I truly believe that that makes a difference, because you can't do all of this on your own. Is the other thing, is that you really do need the power of God to strengthen you and give you that strength and give you that kind of, to continue on and stick to what you know is right and do the right thing and live your life right and be happy and be fruitful and just enjoy life. So anyway, I know this is kind of a long video. It's 15 minutes. So thank you all for sticking with me. And yeah, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Have a good day, guys. Take care.